ain't no Jesus, never saved a soul, never walked on water except ice and snow. There's a rumor in the choir I'm just the luckiest guy they know, but I ain't no Jesus, never saved a soul. I ain't no Buddha, oh I struggle with wrong from right. I ain't no Prince of Peace, I've hit the floor in a good bar fight. Ask forgiveness come Sunday, asking for trouble Saturday night. I ain't no Buddha, I struggle in the wrong from right. No, I can't walk on water, can't part the sea. The only miracle that I've seen is you walking down the aisle. No, I can't talk to God, I ain't divine. The only miracle that I've seen is I can call you mine. I ain't no carpenter, I'm more sailor than saint. I'll put a hammer on the thumbnail, swear so loud to close heaven's gate. But I built you a four-post bed now, darling, don't make me wait. I ain't no carpenter, I'm more sailor than saint. No, I can't walk on water, can't part the sea. The only miracle that I've seen is you walking down the aisle of me. No, I can't talk to God, I ain't divine. The only miracle that I've seen is I can call you mine. Ain't no Jesus, he got the words. How do you preach to the masses when you can't even talk to the girl? You get a little courage from holy wine, but then your speech gets slurred. Ain't no savior, ain't got the words. No, I can't walk on water, can't part the sea. The only miracle that I've seen is you walking down the aisle to me. No, I can't talk to God, I ain't divine. The only miracle that I've seen is I can call you mine. The only miracle that I've seen is I can call you mine. I can call you mine. Thank you.
What makes a great song is honesty, I think, believability, and it has to hit you intellectually to a certain point, but it's more important what happens from the neck down. My favorite songs bring goosebumps, and I can't really break down the magic intellectually because that destroys the magic. So the ones that move you, just they're honest and believable, and for some reason universal enough, even though the songwriter is writing about his life. you put yourself in it and it feels like he's writing for you. And I think those are the ones that are really special. There's a birth moment that happens when you're discovering a song. It sometimes just falls into your lap or falls out of the ether. Sometimes you have to fight for them. Sometimes you just invent the reason for writing. But there are some remarkable moments. And again, it's like meeting somebody on a bus who you just connect with and you fall in love with. A song can be like that. They can come out of nowhere and just introduce themselves to you. And then you're like, oh, good Lord, what do I do with this? And then you spend, again, that first 48 hours is where you're romancing whatever dropped in your lap and making it into something real. One song that hit like lightning was a song called Jukebox on My Grave. And it's the only song I've written in 5 minutes. And most of that 5 minutes was spent on Google. I was reading a book of poetry by Jim Carroll. He wrote Basketball Diaries. And I often go to poetry to just get snippets of ideas, and I was reading one of his poems and it said something about a jukebox on a grave, and I thought, what a great image, man, that would make a great country song. And I thought, well, it's such a great idea that I bet it's been done already. So I go to Google and I put Jukebox on My Grave, lyrics, push go, and there are 10,000 songs about graves, 10,000 songs about jukeboxes, but none that combine the two. And I thought, touchdown. This is the moment where peanut butter meets chocolate. And I dive in, and the song wrote itself in 5 minutes. And a lot of people, you know, it's already shown up on headstones for fans might have passed on. And so, you know, sometimes the magic is lightning, and sometimes it's molasses. You can't tell which it's going to be, but that one was definitely lightning. You know, great songs come from the most honest part of our personality, and you know, when you're writing them, it's hard because all art is really a lie. It's a reflection of what the real world is, and it's because it's one step away from the real world. It becomes a somewhat piece of fiction. You know, it's poetry. And if you're not as honest as you can be within that facade, you know, you're not going to touch people, and that's the trick. It sounds like mumbo jumbo, but you have to lie in order to tell the truth. You know, so you stretch things out, you exaggerate, you overtell the story in some ways, and you're lying, but you're trying to dig at the bigger issue of whatever the song is about. And you know, Dylan was a master of that. McCartney is a master of that. Certainly Joni Mitchell is a master of that. But the answer isn't blowing in the wind. You know, that's not the answer, and it's not blowing in the wind. The answer is peace. So you lie and you say it's blowing in the wind to get to the bigger idea of what peace is.
When I'm gone on my judgment day, please put a jukebox upon my grave. Don't want no headstone, no cold tears, just a jukebox to say a music man lays here. All my friends, when they drop by, can drop a quarter down and hear Roy Orbison's cry. A flood of memories comes wave by wave, carried by a voice inside the jukebox on my grave. hear Hank Williams, some George Jones, some Beatles songs, little Dylan, some Rolling Stones, Joni Mitchell, and Marvin Gaye, and Johnny Cash. He's risen from the ashes on my grave, my grave. That's Johnny Cash, their singing boy named Sue upon my grave. When I'm gone, on my judgment day, put a quarter in the jukebox upon my grave. Don't want no headstone claiming I was brave, just a jukebox singing songs upon my grave. My grave, just a jukebox singing songs upon my grave. My grave. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Before a show, it's essential that you give yourself at least 5 minutes just to do nothing. Like you don't talk, you don't have visitors. You find a corner of the building somewhere where you can just be at peace with yourself. You align your spine, you check your posture, you say whatever form of gratitude to whatever God you believe in or to whatever thing you believe in, and thank them for the opportunity to play to 5 people or 5 million, whatever it is, because we're lucky to be alive in the first place. It's the first miracle, and then lucky to be called musicians along the way on the path that any musicians are on. I do 150 to 200 shows a year, and it's tough to take care of my voice in that period of time. When I was younger, I bounced back from a tough stretch of shows. I could go 4 or 5 days in a row and drink my way into oblivion and party and socialize afterwards, and then wake up in the morning and start the whole process over again. And the older I get, the more I've had to weed out some of the extracurricular activities to protect myself and protect the voice. But I've been on the Cape for 4 years, for 4 days, I should say, teaching, and I can hear the damage in my voice right now, and I can recognize it. So I know that tomorrow, for 24 hours straight, I can't talk. I'm going to have to text and drink a lot of water and hope that the healing process takes place. I've had a lot of great moments on stage. Some of the most treasured moments were the ones where just everything was clicking, the sound was perfect, the crowd was laughing at everything, and I was sort of floating on stage, and they were floating when they left the building. Those are always the best moments, and there are too many, to recall. I've been very lucky. The harder moments are like where you allow your head to get in the way. Like I played Carnegie Hall once. I went out, they announced me, it was a group show. I went out, I plugged in my guitar, and there was a massive amount of feedback, and I'm like, oh my God, this is awful. I'm in Carnegie Hall, there are 2,000 people here. And it sounds absolutely like Jimi Hendrix on acid, gone wrong. And I'm like, wow, wait a minute. I'm at Carnegie Hall. I'm still at Carnegie Hall, and I'm feeding back. This is still the coolest thing I've ever done. And my attitude shifted immediately. And as long as I keep my attitude in check when stuff does happen, because like everything in life it does, I'm fine.
Take me to a drive-in movie. Put your body right next to me. Whisper promises to me. Roll the windows down. 'Cause when you look at me like that, kiss me and I'll kiss you right back. Break your heart, give it to me. Take me to a drive-in movie. Take me. Take me, take me. Take me on a long vacation, outbound from an old train station. We'll watch the world go by till we close our eyes in a sleeping car. We'll wake up in a brand new place. You're the only one who knows my face, looking for a little salvation. Take me on a long vacation. Take me. Doesn't matter where we go. Take me. I don't even have to know. Take me. Take me on a roller coaster. I wanna feel my heart turn over till I'm upside down, can't touch the ground. There's no gravity. I wanna feel my blood rush, just like the first time we touched. Wanna fall over and over. Take me on a roller coaster. Take me. Doesn't matter where we go. Take me. Don't even have to know. Take me. Take me slow. Take me to a drive-in movie. Slide a little closer to me. Thank you guys. Thank you. Woo!
I've been on the road for 25 years. The thing that I'm most grateful for in that period of time is the cell phone. I remember times when after a show I'd pull into a gas station and I wouldn't have talked to my loved ones or my family or my wife for days and days. Like a couple days would have gone by because we just could not find the proper moment to coordinate the call. And I'd go and find a payphone in a gas station at midnight and do that late night call that was difficult and lonely and felt, separation and all of the wild things that would happen in a situation like that. And now with the cell phone, I've got Rand McNally, the Library of Congress, and every human being that I need to contact on speed dial. And it's just a moment of bang, and there they are. And that completely changed my life. Over the years, I've produced 20 CDs or so. And, CDs are gonna be very soon like Victrolas are, that it's the technology is already seeming dated. The only reason why it makes sense coming out of my mouth is because I have gray hair. I mean, younger people below the age of 30 only talk in streaming and MP3s and downloading. So CDs are gonna be gone, which means a collection of songs eventually is gonna die with this generation of songwriters. And it's gonna be a single-based art form, pretty much. Maybe EPs, maybe just a handful, maybe a 6-pack of songs instead of a 12-pack or a 24-pack. Personally, I miss those days when you got the Beatles album that was a double album and it had all this music and all these songs and had a story somehow connecting the vibe between the songs. And sadly, I think that generation of music is going to go as people like me get older and pass on. Well, the internet is both, it's changed the music industry in all these positive ways. Suddenly, independent artists, local artists that wouldn't have access to a worldwide audience, suddenly it's right there in their living room on their laptop. And once a month I can go online and do a show without leaving my house. The commute is awesome. I go from my bedroom to my kitchen, I pop a bottle of wine, put it down and set the camera up, press go, and suddenly I'm playing to whoever wants to be there. And that gives me this availability that was never there before. Unfortunately, as most of us know, CDs are no longer being sold, and songwriters like myself are getting micro pennies from YouTube and Spotify and all of these power players within the internet world, and we're not being taken care of. And that's the downside of it, is that our incomes have been destroyed because the fundamental pillar in a musician's income is the ability to sell his music. And suddenly, the pillar's gone, and what do we do? And that's the problem with the internet.
I got laid off, it's Monday. I'm calling to tell you, it don't sit with me well. I feel like I failed you. You say we got each other, and that's plenty enough, and I know that's true. But we got one kid coming, one still in diapers. It's a rainy drive home with one good wiper. Leave the porch light on. I need a beacon just to pull me to you. If I ever lost you, I would be lost too, just drifting in a sea of blue. You're in my skin like a rose, like a rose tattoo. Now the economy's crashing, this poor boy's laughing, 'cause there's nothing to lose. We don't live in no mansion, there's no bling to put on, only Walmart fashion will do. Inside the house, the baby's screaming, pasta steaming, and I look through the windows, feels like I'm dreaming. You pull the door open, say, Daddy, when you're coming home. If I ever lost you, I would be lost too, just drifting in a sea of blue. You're in my skin like a rose, like a rose, like a rose. And you say we'll fight for the best case scenario, and then you put Van Morrison on the stereo. Well, sure, there's trouble in the boardrooms, trouble in the factories, trouble in the alleys out back. We've got love in these patterns, love is what matters. Baby, I got your back, I've got your back, got your back. If I ever lost you, I would be lost here, just drifting in a sea of blue. You're in my skin like a rose, like a rose, like a rose, like a rose tattoo. Like a rose, like a rose.
Community as a musician is probably fundamentally the most important thing. Your community of fellow songwriters forces your songs to get better and better. You hear one of theirs and you need to up them, and they need to up you. And then it goes back and forth, and that's how great songwriters become great. You know, McCartney had John Lennon, and then he tried to beat John Lennon, and then John Lennon tried to beat McCartney, and then George Harrison got in the fray, and suddenly this little microcosm of community had three of the best songwriters on the entire planet, like overnight. They went from being nobodies to being as good as Gershwin in that period of time because they were in that competitive fight, but they were friendly about it. And then outside of that is you get people who love you and take care of you. Your fans end up taking care of you. Your friends within the industry help you out by giving you whatever opening they can that you can build your career into. So, you know, none of us would be able to do this if we lived on a desert island. 5 years from now, that's a lot of bacon. A lot of things can change in 5 years, like my girth, for example. 5 years from now, I just want to be doing more of the same. I mean, I know who I am and I know what my job is. You know, I keep my goals reliably attainable. You know, I don't say, let's go get a Grammy and sell 1 million records. I'm like, let's put out 4 records that you love. Let's spend this much time on the road and this much time at home. You know, in 5 years, if I could have a balanced life and still fire away like I am on all cylinders, then I would be extremely happy.